Hello and welcome. My name is Margaret Gilbert from Corporate Contracts and I'm the Director of Corporate Contracts. So welcome, and these set of videos that you can find on YouTube and elsewhere are all about how to make procurement better. That is the aim and the goal. So welcome to the word on contract matters and about contracts. So corporate contracts is about three things. One is procurement consultancy, one is procurement training, and the other is in respect to contract matters books that I've written, a copy of which I have here, and you'll be able to find the more details about the contract matters book at the end of this video. So I work for both buyer and supplier. For buyers, I just look to ensure that the process is done well and to incorporate what's necessary into the procurement process. For suppliers, I assist them to understand what the procurement process is all about and to assist them to ensure that the proposal responses they put in to buyers covers both the technical and the commercial side that buyers are looking for. I hope that this gives you an idea about what corporate contracts is about. I look forward to hearing from you. Please feel free to get in contact through www.contractmatters.com or through my email, which is margaret@corpcontracts.co.nz. So look forward to hearing from you. And these videos is all about how to make procurement better. That is the aim and the goal. So look forward to hearing from you. Thank you for listening. Thank you. Hello, just like to provide a summary of the last video. In the last video we talked about risk and the need to be aware of risk. Equally, in terms of that technology has to take account of the procurement strategy. So the procurement strategy has to be given a considerable thought to. Also, we talked about the need to have some spare time to actually do some thinking and have some headspace to think about what our needs are. And when we talk about strategy, is to look at sort of what is necessary and what we can do from a short-term perspective, a medium-term perspective and a long-term perspective, with short-term meaning 6 months and long-term meaning about 3 years to 4 years. Also an opportunity to look at the relationship with our suppliers, the training needs that perhaps could be there, and the last in terms of the ability to plan. So all these bullet points are useful to know, which was from the previous video. Thank you. While we're doing the thinking, we have to sort of harness the usage of the technology and to make use. We cannot stand still, and it provides us with an opportunity to look at innovation, how we can do things differently. And that will help in terms of how we're going to succeed in what we're trying to do. So procurement cannot stay static. It cannot stay the way it always has. It has to move, because if it does not move, then procurement can become a bit irrelevant, and so which is not what is wanted, because procurement can add value to the organisation. We just have to provide that value. So we need to find a better way of managing our relationships. At the moment, it's very much transactional and in some cases can be quite confrontational. Looking into the future, we can't afford that. Well, actually, we can't afford it now, but certainly into the future, we cannot afford for us to consider things purely from a transactional perspective. We need to look at how we can conduct procurement in a transformational way. And we have that opportunity, and there is a window to make that happen, because as we're thinking about how technology is going to change things, then we can take the opportunity to look at how we conduct ourselves with our suppliers and suppliers with buyers, obviously. It is vital that both sides work together, and if we want to make it a success, then that has to happen. We cannot do this one party alone. So the aim here is obviously to have a win-win for both parties, and so that both parties can get a win out of this. That's a normal part of procurement anyway, in achieving a win-win. So it could well be that if we're into social procurement, is that obviously the win-win will be to the community as well as it will be just to the initial buyer supplier. So we need to think ahead. We need to look bigger and broader about what is possible. So the future allows us to do that if we start thinking now. And we have to start thinking now because there is more and more change coming, and we have to be able to be ready for that change. To assist here, we need to move it, as I said a moment ago, to transformational procurement. And one way of doing that is through collaboration. The collaboration type relationship between buyer and supplier. So that means for both parties to work together rather than both parties just working for the interest of themselves and not for the interest of both parties. If we do that, we can achieve the desired end results, the outcomes, to make sure that the outcomes are as effective as they can be. That is the desired end result. We need to make that happen. So in other videos I have mentioned this, but I think it's worth saying again, that we need to operate as we rather than them and us. We cannot afford for both parties just to sort of operate in a silo type situation. That's just not going to work. And as technology comes in, and the cost in the beginning anyway could be quite high, then we need to communicate and clearly communicate the benefits of that technology and how it can assist the organisation and assist in terms of the organisation's bottom line in respect to better procurement. And we need to be able to sell that message to not only to management but to the organisation in total. So the question we have to ask ourselves is can we engage in sustainable procurement? And how can we do that? And the answer is yes, we have to engage in sustainable procurement, certainly if not now, then certainly into the future. And it could well be that technology as it comes along can assist us to do that better. We need to not only to look at enhancing our environment, but it could well be that with climate change issues that is going to probably be legislated as to requirements. We're going to have to fit in with that anyway. So we need probably to start the thinking, and that should be a part of the procurement strategy. We cannot ignore sustainable procurement, especially when it comes to our supply chain, suppliers, and then supply chain and the supply chain extension. We have to make sure as we go along that all can be sustainable, all can take account of environmental factors, and that we are sure about the actions of our total supply chain. This is also a factor when we look at perhaps recycling and also in terms of disposals. There's already sort of requirements now in respect to disposals, but I think as time goes on and looking into the future, it's going to be more a factor than ever. So it's a matter of how to engage in sustainable procurement, and it is going to take a while for that to occur, but that, as I said, needs to be a part of the strategy. We need to think long term. So sustainability is also about the effectiveness of the supplier and whether they can come along with us in terms of the vision and direction, and also in terms of, from the product side of things, as to how best we can procure without affecting the environment too much. So we need to look at how we are, our organisation could be a good corporate citizen that does the right thing. This is so important when we look to the future and in terms of technology. This will assist also in terms of whether suppliers want to work with us, buyers, because it could well be that there are some suppliers that may not want to work with you if you're not prepared to move yourself. And that's why we need to get over the sort of being stuck in place and sort of thinking that there's just too much information to make any decision. There has to be some decisions made. You cannot just stay stuck in the same place. So looking ahead, it's going to take a distinct plan and to be able to focus on what the requirements are. Suppliers also have to look at how they see procurement in the future as well. And both sides really need to work together to sort of make that decision. What is it that's required? What can be? We cannot put together a procurement strategy without including our often used suppliers, because they've got good ideas and we should make use of those ideas. And if we want to bring them along with us, we need to include them. We cannot just impose a strategy which might not be able to happen from a technical perspective or even from a relationship perspective. So they can provide good ideas that you can incorporate into the strategy. This is going to take some leadership, and it's going to have to come from the buyer. So we need to look at what it is that we want. We just need to figure out and find the focus on the best procurement outcomes, robust procurement, transparent procurement, strategic procurement, and to be able to provide value add to your organisation, and make sure that looking forward into the future is that procurement is relevant and procurement practitioners are ready to be fit to take on the future. And that will probably require training. We need to be up to speed in terms of what is possible. And so procurement practitioners are very good when it comes to the technical side of things. It's the soft skills that are going to be the part of the future for what procurement practitioners need. Soft skills are communication skills in different areas than just procurement, so that they can communicate to the organisation and be clear about what is possible and assist more in terms of the relationship that's required between the buyer and supplier. So the future is not 100% known, but we need to start thinking ahead as to what is possible and to be able to plan. If we do not plan, if we do not get ready, then the future will be with us and we will have a procurement system that is outdated, outmoded, and not at all helpful. So the pure message of this video really is to say that we cannot lose the focus for the future. We cannot assume that technology will stay the same as it is now, because it won't. It will be something new in 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, whatever. We just have to be aware of what we want and to apply the technology as it comes, and to be ready for that technology and to be able to to train for it before we need to. Be ready. That is the key message for this video. I hope you find this video helpful. Feel free to get in touch. My website address is www.contractmatters.com. I can be contacted through my email, which is margaret@corpcontracts.co.nz. And the relevant Contract Matters book is Contract Matters, A Future for Procurement, which you can find on my website. So thank you for your attention. Thank you.